Manchester United have just lost 1-0 at home to Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Where do I start? What an absolute shambles. I mean, that game, it just reminded me of the last couple of seasons where team player low block and we can't break it down. We didn't even seem to carve out any opportunities, really, did we? There was a couple of potential shouts for penalties, but I think it was all pretty soft. I think we could have potentially given away a penalty. We could have potentially had a red card, you know? So I don't want to have the whole argument of, oh, the referees robbed us and all of this rubbish, because I just think it's a bit lazy at this point. You know, we can't just keep blaming referees. Yes, we've had some bad decisions against us, but for us to just immediately come on this video and be like, oh, it was a penalty, we should have won the game, I just think that's incorrect. We didn't play very well. Yes, we had 80% possession, but we did nothing with it. We did absolutely nothing with it. Tell me one thing that we did in that performance that showed you any sign of attacking. Nothing. Rashford got subbed off because he was so useless. I mean, fair play to Erik ten Hag for subbing off Rashford. Rashford was absolutely useless today. He was so poor. Erik ten Hag did the right thing by bringing him off the pitch. That was 100% the correct decision. But for me, I don't know what positive I can take from that game. I literally do not know a single positive to take from that game. All that I can say is we had possession. We did nothing with the possession. We really, really didn't. Crystal Palace looked like more likely to score a second goal than us to score an equaliser. I don't know where we go from here, to be completely honest. I know, obviously, we had a good result against Crystal Palace in the League Cup. I think, realistically, we just have to think like this, all right? The League Cup, the FA Cup, that has to be our target for the season. Either one of those trophies has to be the goal. Top four, I would say, unless we miraculously turn it around, I would say top four is a long way off now. You know, you see teams like Aston Villa beating Brighton 6-1. You see Newcastle keep winning. You know, obviously Arsenal keep winning. Liverpool keep winning. All of these other teams around us in the Premier League keep winning, you know. Even Crystal Palace. I mean, Crystal Palace are probably... Well, let's have a quick look at the table. Do let me know how everybody's feeling. I assume everybody's upset. I get it. Let's all just try and, like, not get at each other. Let's not all try and stay united. So Manchester United are on 9 points. Brighton are in, Aston Villa are in 4th on 15 points. So we're 6 points off top four. I mean, are we going to go on a winning streak? I can't see it happening at the moment. I really, really can't. I think top four is a long, long way away for me. I think 5th, maybe. Obviously, there is the potential that if we finish 5th, we get Champions League football. I think that's a possibility. I just think that we have to aim for the League Cup or the FA Cup now. I know that a lot of you don't even want to be in the League Cup. You think it's pointless. You don't want to be in the energy drink trophy and all the rest of it. I get that. I get people are you know, annoyed. But that is the level of where we are at the moment. And where do we go from here? I'm not entirely sure. Do we... I don't know. I don't know who's to blame for this. I really don't. Like, who do you blame? Crystal Palace literally just defended. They parked the bus and we couldn't break them down. There's nothing else really that Crystal Palace did, is there? They just parked the bus. They did nothing else. I mean, if you look at the actual stats from the game... Like, we were the better team, but we didn't score any goals, and goals win you matches. I know that's the most cliche saying ever, but we can't come away and said, oh, we had loads of possession. Oh, you know what I mean? It's not like we had 5 goal scoring opportunities and they didn't go in. I don't remember a single goal scoring opportunity in the second half, to be completely honest with you. I think Crystal Palace looked more likely of scoring a goal in the second half than we did. Yes, we had all the possession. I mean, we had 77% possession. We had 19 shots and 4 shots on target. Our XG was 1.67 and theirs was 0.81. So if you're looking at it based on stats, yes, we should have won the game. Some will say we were robbed. Some will say it should have been a penalty. Some will say this. Some will say that. And all of that is fair, okay? You can have those opinions. But, you know, their goal was poor. It was a lucky goal for them. Let's see what people are saying. Comeback King saying, stop saying it's Erik ten Hag. It's not us fault. Look at De Zerbi. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. Malps is saying, get rid of the manager. We've already got people saying, get rid of the manager. Somebody says, I predicted 1-0. Leon's laughing at us. Somebody else is saying Erik ten Hag needs to employ more on keeping the ball. We're so easily pushed off the ball. You know what, right? Against this game against Galatasaray in the Champions League on Tuesday, I would play Hannibal. I'd play Garnacho from the start. I'd play Pellistri. I don't care anymore. You know, don't bother starting Rashford. Bruno Fernandes, maybe you play Bruno, but otherwise I would just go back to the team that we had against Crystal Palace in the League Cup, because that was the best performance I've seen of Manchester United in that League Cup game. I would just go back to that. I don't care if Rashford's on 350 grand a week. I don't care if Bruno Fernandes is the captain. We need to go back to the players who are actually playing the style of football that Erik ten Hag wants. Leon says there's no point trying to cover it up. Manchester United are terrible. I'm not sure what has happened to Rashford. It's beyond me. Bruno has even dropped. Is this all burnout? I do think it is burnout. Like, if we take away all of the emotion, we take away all of the frustration. Last season was an absolute joke for most clubs, right? We got very far. We got to the final of the League Cup, the final of the FA Cup. Obviously, we had a World Cup where literally 90% of our squad went to. And no wonder half the team are injured, half the team are burned out. But still, it's not acceptable, is it, to lose at home to Crystal Palace? That is not acceptable. It wasn't acceptable to lose at home to Brighton. I know every game in the Premier League is difficult. I know no game is easy in the Premier League, but to not even be able to carve out any opportunities, that's the bit that frustrates me the most. Yes, we had all the possession, but we did nothing with it. It was that same old story that we had under Ollie, where if a team plays a low block, we can't break them down and we don't score. And it's just the same old over and over again. What was the point in spending 60, 70 million on Rasmus Højlund? I don't think he had a single chance in the whole match, really, other than in the first half. In the second half, he didn't have any opportunities. No one was passing the ball to him. Nobody was crossing the ball. It was just, what's the point? We should have spent that money in other areas. Maybe got a midfielder, maybe got another defender, maybe solidified the rest of the team. What's the point in spending all this money if you're not even putting balls in the box? It's so frustrating. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Andrew says, constantly being disappointed has made me give up on them. Don't care if we get relegated. This team deserves to lose the next 10 games and screw the Carabao Cup. Yeah, I get it, mate. It's frustrating. It really, really is. Malp says, enough's enough. Get rid of Erik ten Hag. He's clueless. The thing is, right, Malps, like, I get you're upset, but the people who want Erik ten Hag out want De Zerbi. De Zerbi just got absolutely slapped by Aston Villa 6-1 today. Do you still want De Zerbi? Is De Zerbi really better than Erik ten Hag? He's just lost 6-1 to Aston Villa. Like, that's embarrassing. Somebody says at least Manchester City lost. I mean, you've got to take the small positives being a Man United fan, don't you? So Man City have lost, which probably means that not a hell of a lot in the grand scheme of things. They'll lose this game, Manchester City, and I bet you any money they'll go and win the next 15 games in a row now. They'll go on an absolute mad one. But yeah, Manchester City have officially lost to Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League. I mean, yeah. Mr. Bean says Ten Hag out. He's got a picture of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as his profile picture. Fair play. William says this entire team is garbage. I don't disagree with you, to be honest. I think we have a few good players in our team. I think Garnacho's good. I think Garnacho comes onto the pitch and excites me. I think Amrabat at left back, obviously that was just a disaster. Mike says, will a new manager make any difference, though? I don't think so. I honestly don't think they will make any difference. I honestly do not think bringing in a new manager will make a single slice of difference for me personally. Somebody else is saying we should sack Erik ten Hag. I don't know to what level, at what point Manchester United start thinking about those types of things. As I said, I'm Erik ten Hag in. I think we need new owners, we need new players, we need new staff, new scouts. I think all of that needs to be sorted out before we start sacking managers. Maybe we bring in, a new owner and they say this isn't the style of football we want to play, and we get rid of Erik ten Hag. If that's the case, then obviously you have to support that. But we're 7 games into the season. We've lost 4 games already out of 7. I mean, that is terrible. 4 games out of 7. We've lost more than we've won. We've conceded 11 goals and scored 7. To have only scored on average 1 goal a game in the Premier League, that is so poor for a team that we've spent over £1 billion on in the last 10 years. So poor, so disappointing. I mean, where are we now? So we're 11 points off top of the table with 7 games into the season. I mean, we're out of the title race within 7 games. It's an absolute disgrace. It really, really is. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Somebody says, drop Bruno and Rashford. Yeah, I would do that, to be fair, personally. Jag says, how can you win a game 3-0 and then a few days later lose 1-0? I don't know, mate. I really, really don't know. Richie says Amrabat was crap today. I agree. Amrabat was not very good today. He was not good at left back whatsoever. He was good against Crystal Palace in the week. But I'm going to be honest, right? Crystal Palace in the week didn't even look like they were interested, to be honest. Let's think about it realistically, right? Crystal Palace in the week, yes, we played well. Yes, we scored some good goals. But they literally didn't even seem bothered after we scored the first goal. They had no hunger. Mr. Bean says, are you Erik ten Hag out? Yeah, I'm not Erik ten Hag out at this point. I just think it's pointless. I think you could bring in any manager in world football and we'd be in the same situation as we are now, personally. I don't think a lot's going to change regardless of who you bring in, but I can see a lot of you in the chat are Erik ten Hag out. Malp says that thanks for the League Cup, Eric, but it's time to go. Others saying what a waste of space this club is. Lots of people saying that Erik ten Hag should go. Otto says, in fact, this season Ten Hag isn't taking us anywhere. It's shameful. Yeah, Andrew says Palace won the game that actually matters. Yeah, I would have 100% rather lose against Palace in the Carabao Cup and won this match. I really, really would have. But the only thing we can think about now is the League Cup and the FA Cup, realistically. That's our only expectation of any success this season. We're not going to win the Champions League. Maybe we drop down from the Champions League and get into the Europa. Possibly. And even then, are we going to beat Liverpool in the Europa? There's some good teams in the Europa. I wouldn't be surprised if we wouldn't win that either. Carlos says Palace won the game, but United won the war. Somebody says referees and VAR are our issue. I get it. We've been robbed of some decisions, but you can't just keep blaming the VARs and the referees. I just think it's a bit of a lazy argument, personally. We didn't create any opportunities. Okay, is that the VAR's fault that we didn't create any opportunities? Is it the referee's fault that we didn't create any opportunities? No, you can't blame the referee for us not creating any opportunities. Malp says it's going to get worse, IMO. I kind of agree with you in some ways, because as soon as these players' heads drop, which I'm sure they will very, very soon, it will get a lot worse. There'll be loads of leaks. There'll be people saying that Harry Maguire should start. There'll be people saying that Jadon Sancho should be brought back. When you think of all of the carnage that's going off the pitch, right? You've got Mason Greenwood, obviously, situation that's happened. You've got the Jadon Sancho situation. You've got the Anthony situation. All of these situations are Erik ten Hag's being scrutinised for, right? There will be people out there, there'll be TalkSport journalists saying it's a disgrace that they haven't brought back Sancho. Oh, he's losing games. He's lost 4 games out of 7, and he's not even, he's too stubborn to bring back Jadon Sancho. Those conversations will already be being had somewhere in the world, Marcelo says, what do you think? Why are we so bad? Why do we have all the possession but can't score? The thing is, right, it's nothing new. We've been like this for the last 2, 3, 4 years, right? We've always been that team where if somebody plays a low block, we can't score against them. We can't. We've always been a counter-attacking team. We've been a team that, on the break, we're decent. You use Rashford's pace. And that was all we've ever been. We don't have a style of play. Remind yourselves of that. We have no style of play. We don't. The only style of play we had today was 80% possession and doing nothing with it. Digger says Ten Hag has a mountain to climb, 10 years of the past to fix. Exactly. I've said this to you many, many times before, that sacking Erik ten Hag, for me, is pointless, okay? It's completely pointless, because we don't have a style of play, and we haven't had a style of play for 10 years. And he's trying to instill some sort of philosophy and style of play into some people who literally have no idea what they're doing. Andrew says, in your opinion, what needs to change at the club apart from the owners? So what needs to change for me is, most importantly, we need to get a director of football. I don't know who that will be. Ralph Ragnick, Paul Mitchell. There's loads of names being floated around. We need a director of football. We need the best in the world, not John Murtagh and Richard Arnold, who are finance people. They're hopeless. We need to get the best scouts in world football so we can start bringing through young players for cheap and developing them and turn them into the next Caicedos, the next Mitomas, whoever it might be, right? All of those things need to happen. The whole culture at Manchester United needs to change. I thought we were on the road to a new future, but I don't feel like we are personally at the moment. Bob says it's terrible football to watch. Yeah, it is. That's the thing, right? At the beginning of the season, all I wanted from Manchester United was to be entertained this season. I wanted to see Erik ten Hag ball. And after we beat Crystal Palace 3-0 in the week, right? I said for the first time ever, that was the most I'd enjoyed a game since Erik ten Hag had been here. I thought the performance was unbelievable, and that was Erik ten Hag football. Today, it was 80% possession, but we did nothing with it. Malp says season is a write-off in September. It can't get any more embarrassing than this. I mean, it can't really, can it? We're what, a 10th or 11th place now? We've just lost to Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace are a decent team, they're a mid-table team, but we shouldn't be losing at home to Crystal Palace. What happens when we go and play Crystal Palace away? What happens when we go and play Brighton away? What happens when we go and play Liverpool, Arsenal? Obviously, we lost to Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, Tottenham we lost to. We're going to lose to all of these teams. I'm not trying to be negative, but if we go and play like we have today and in the last 6 games against Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle, Brighton, Aston Villa, we're going to lose to all of those teams away. I'm almost certain of it. We're not going to beat any of them. So I don't know where we go from here. I think mid-table is probably realistic. And we have to just hope that we get new owners, and we have to see this as a long-term plan, right? For me, even if we get new owners, even if we get Sheikh Jassim, who I know some of you want, some of you don't want, I think it's a 3 to 5 year plan for Manchester United. I think it's going to take that long for us to get back to where people think we should be at. The level of entitlement needs to go from Manchester United fans. We're not a good team anymore. We're a bang average side with some overplayed players, very average players, paid a lot of money to do very little. And that is Manchester United now. That's just the reality that we have to endure. And we can be upset, we can throw our toys out of the pram, but this is just Manchester United now. This is what we have to just, I don't want to say put up with, but Malp says relegation would be a good thing to get rid of the owners. Jags says Champions League is gone this season. Erik ten Hag is not the problem. It's all the other stuff around that. Andrew says, why can't we drop Rashford? I mean, he did drop Rashford. He dropped him about 70 minutes into the game. He brought him off, which I'll commend Erik ten Hag for, because he was absolutely awful all match. He was terrible, absolutely rubbish. He's got 1 goal in 7 games in the Premier League, and he's meant to be like one of our best players. I'm not going to start slagging off Rasmus Højlund. He's played 7 games. We knew from the very, very beginning, right? We knew that from the very, very beginning that Rasmus Højlund wasn't going to be an instant star overnight. It never was going to happen. Somebody says 5 years, you've got to be joking, bro. Mate, I honestly think, right, if we get Sheikh Jassim and we get new owners, it's going to take us 3 to 5 years to get anywhere near competing for the league. I genuinely believe that. There's that much work that needs to do. Look at our squad, right? Rafael Varane, 31, needs replacing. Casemiro, 31 years of age, will need replacing in a couple of years. Bruno Fernandes, 30 years of age. Some of you don't even like him, but regardless of whether you like him, he needs replacing. 2 or 3 of our best players are pretty much a year or 2 away from being needed to be replaced. And we're this bad with them already. So when you look through the spine of our team, right, we need probably 1 or 2 new midfielders. We need a striker who's actually going to score us goals. We need a proper defender, whether that's Antonio Silva. It looks like Lisandro Martinez is going to be injured now for 3 months. You know, he's injury prone. Yeah, it's going to take 3 to 5 years for me, even with new owners. That's the reality of it. And if anybody thinks any different, like, there's people in the chat, right, who want Qatar in. I want Qatar. But if any of you are that convinced, right, that the day we announce that Sheikh Jassim's coming in, we're going to instantly be challenging for the title, you're in for a big shock. I really, really believe that. It's going to take 3 to 5 years for me. I said that in the summer before all of this. I said, yes, I know you want Sheikh Jassim. Yes, I know you're excited. But for me, it's a long-term plan. It's going to take a long, long time to undo all the wrongs of the last 10 years. To get rid of all the players, to get rid of all the deadwood, whatever you want to call them. Carlos says, if Liverpool win against Spurs today, will you fear them? I mean, Liverpool are second in the Premier League. Like, fair play to Liverpool. Liverpool are a good side. But you know, I don't know what else to say. We're not a good side. That's the reality of it. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I'm going to go and watch the Liverpool-Tottenham game now, just to try and take my mind off this debacle for a little bit. There won't be a 6 o'clock show tonight. But obviously, I will be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for your usual morning show. I know everyone's upset, but please do smash a like on the video. It does help the channel. It doesn't cost you any money. Please do subscribe on your way out. Try and have a nice evening. Try and switch up from football. Just let me just have this as my closing statement, okay? This is just the reality now, okay? So don't let it get you down. I know it's frustrating. I know it's upsetting. I know as Manchester United fans, we want more than this. We expect more than this. I think we just need to lower our expectations. I think we've been battling for top 4 for the last 10 years, you know? I guess we still are battling for top 4 now. You know, we can still turn it round. We're never going to win the league. That's the reality of it. And I know everyone's upset, but try and have a nice evening or a nice day. Take your mind away from football. I will be back at 8 a.m. tomorrow. We can talk about this game a little bit more after we've all slept on it. Have a lovely rest of your day. Please do smash a like. Please do subscribe. And I'll speak to you all later.